And we have recently changed the company a lot, like a huge amount. So we've removed all managers. It's completely self-managing, and because it's self-managing, I'm no longer have the power to tell anyone what to work on. I cannot say like, hey, you work on this feature now because this is what our vision is for next year, which kind of really makes this question much more enjoyable to answer for me, which is, I don't know. And it's gonna be something cool. I'm pretty sure, because people are excited. People are excited to work on cool things. But I believe that people are gonna work on things that they enjoy, that they feel is that they feel solves a problem for the customer, that makes the world a better place, that they enjoy genuinely, that their skills are suited for. So it's gonna be something in that intersection of the people working at Buffer, and I think it's gonna be great. And I honestly I'm looking forward to myself to see what it's going to be.
How do you come up with the idea of being completely transparent?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm gonna just summarize. Just so the key idea for us to be completely transparent was that we felt it's the right thing to do, right? If you know someone, or if we know each other for like say 2 years, right? And I never share anything about who I am as a person, and never tell you, where I live or anything at all. It kind of makes you feel like, hey, I don't really know you. Like, who are you as a person, right? And we kind of get the same feeling for companies, right? If you feel like, what is this company like? Who is in what? Like, so we said like, hey, let's try and simplify that. Like, let's try and truly provide every detail to every single person in the world who's interested about how we do things and why we do things. And we feel like that's just sort of the right thing to do, to create like a world where people feel like, hey, there's good people. This is what we do. This is the stuff. There's nothing else. There's no one sitting in the back room developing some other strategy you don't know about. It's like, this is it, right? This is the stuff. And so that was sort of always our idea, that like the more transparent we can be, the better we can kind of the better we can be as people ourselves.
When you say people are choosing what they want to do on themselves, how do you control that it's going, or how do you manage that it all goes into the same direction?
So the question, like, if you can no longer tell people what to do, like, how does it work?
What is leadership then?
What are the things you can control that shape the outcome?
Yeah, and I love the idea. What is leadership? Great question. Very philosophical, actually. And the short answer is you don't control it, and you don't manage it, and you don't lead people from the top to the bottom. You just don't. And you trust that people are, one of the things I find fascinating is that every day all of us make big decisions, right? We decide where we're gonna live, we decide who we're gonna marry, right? That's a big decision, right? But then people walk into companies, and all of a sudden they can't make any decisions, right? All of a sudden we become stupid, right? It's like, now you can't make big decisions because gonna just and so along the same time we feel like, no, people can make. People are smart, right? People are not gonna just work on this, and someone else is gonna work on something completely different, and then they're gonna like, it's like, hey, people are gonna talk with each other, right? People are gonna say like, hey, what do you think? I want to work on this, right? And then someone else might say like, yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Let's work on this together, right? So we believe that it doesn't need to be managed. People are smart enough to self-manage themselves, to be smart, to look around, like, what is everyone else working in the company? Where can I join? Maybe I can start something new and get other people to join me, right? So that's kind of how it works. And leadership still happens. Leadership is still important, but it's not imposed, right? It's not like, hey, I'm appointing this person as the boss of you, right? That's kind of imposed leadership. It's more like, hey, Andreas has been doing this for so long, for 10 years. He's naturally going to be a person that people go to and ask questions, right? He doesn't say, I'm the leader. He's just saying, people know that he's got a lot of experience. So naturally, they're going to want to speak to him and ask for his advice and have him involved. And that's how kind of like he's a more... it's kind of organic leadership, right? So that's kind of how I think about leadership, and it's much less pronounced, it's much less appointed, but I think it works much better, and it kind of makes people feel much better.